Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Starsector, and we are picking up right where we left off in episode 1. We are still in the tutorial, and basically we are being summoned to the local hegemony. I didn't look it up yet, folks. Station where they want to talk to us is what this is coming down to. And Station Commander Chapman is the one who wants to talk to us. Well, we're going to continue. Let's lay in a course for Insira. You don't need to do this to travel, but it helps keep track of where you're going and how long it'll take to get there. All true. If dismissing this, after dismissing this dialogue, press E to open the intel screen to view the details of the message you've just received. Very important. Select the message and click Show on Map, and then you can lay in a course. All good stuff. We're going to go ahead and do exactly what it's suggesting there. You could also press Tab and open the map directly, is what it's reminding us. So we're going to finish. I am going to go ahead and hit E to demonstrate that, but then we'll come back and look at the tab method. So this is our universe. That's the extent of our universe. And I mentioned in the first episode that the core worlds kind of in the center, they remain the same. So we have Galatia here. This is Corvus. Corvus has a specific base there that we'll end up going to. We have these other ones that are right around us here. Those will all stay the same in every playthrough. And that includes things like out as far as Westerness and maybe even a little further. I don't honestly know. It's not something I paid hugely close attention to. But you'll notice there's like a kind of a gap. You get from here and then all of a sudden way out here. I believe like Thanatos here. Thanatos? Yeah, I believe that might be one of them that's more randomly generated. These are, and it generally is going to be the systems that are unexplored. So now that one has some info. So you kind of can get the idea of where the core worlds are. I'd say it's this circle here, although I'm not an expert on that, but I would say that's what they are. All of this out here, depending on the game key you use, when you set up your new game, and you might not do one at all, it randomly generates it if you don't force it in there. That's all going to be different. Okay, so stabilize the jump points. We're supposed to contact Station Commander Mia Chapman at Insira. We're going to go do that. And it said to click on the, what was it? Click on go to map. Well, we were close in there when it said that. So I think we click here. There we go. Our ship is right here. There's that debris field we explored, and you'll notice it says explored. If we go back, I don't think we'd be able to re-loot that, so to speak, or salvage it again. There could be a timer on some of those things, particularly in other segments, but this one, I don't think if you come back to it 100 times, you'll ever salvage it again. There we go. We're going to click on the planet. I'm going to back out of that real quick, and that was hitting tab. You can see it takes us basically to where we were. I want to right click on it to set a course to it. If I left click on it, show station info, lay in a course, and I'm holding down the mouse button, by the way, or create an intel map marker. Well, we really just want to lay in the course, which we've already done. So there we go. And when we come out of this, we can hit tab to get out of it. We just start flying. There we go. We're moving along. And Insira is pretty far away, and it will take a while to get there at this rate. You decide to continue. Well, yeah. What it's going to do is give us an ability called sustained burn. And what that does is it gives us a higher maximum speed. We lose maneuverability when we do it. So we will gain the ability to sustain a burn. Now, there's also this supplementary command, which is interdiction pulse. We can use this against other ships that are in a sustained burn, but they can also use it against us. What it does is it kills your sustained burn. It slows you down. It's like a little net that'll slow you down, and you sometimes can still outrun them, sometimes you can't, but know that that's what that is about. And it's going to put it down here on our bar once we get there. We're going to activate it. We'll go much more quickly. You can also speed up time by holding down the shift key. And through the settings, you can set it so the shift key is a toggle, not a hold. I prefer to use it as a hold. It just works better for me that way. So we're going to finish. And here we go. Here is that's the interdiction pulse. Here is sustained burn. You'll notice we're doing 8 right now. And we're going to click that. It always kills your speed and then it accelerates you. So we went down to 0, but now we're at 16. We've doubled our speed. And real quick, here comes, this isn't so bad, but we're coming up on an asteroid belt. If you go through an asteroid belt at full speed, your chance is the fleet may be knocked off course and some of your ships might take damage. So to combat that, we're going to hold down the S key when we get close to slow down. And that's what it's telling us here. A slow-moving fleet avoids this danger. Press and hold S to move slowly until you're through the asteroid belt. We will do that. I think part of this comes down to a timing game. You want to time it so you're not slowing down too early now. And then we're barely moving through there and I'm holding it. And once we're out on the other side, I release it and we accelerate again back up to presumably 16. Now, if the sun, for instance, which should be over here, was in the way, oh, you can see it on the map here. If the sun was in the way, we would go around the sun. You're not going to fly through it. Okay, your fleet is getting close to Ansira, which is controlled by the hegemony. A major militaristic faction in this sector. I think there's 6. Factions. While the hegemony while in their space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by keeping its transponder turned on. This is a view shared by most, though not all, major factions. That is true. It's good faith to leave your transponder on so they can identify you. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. The thing that's weird about it is it's a double click, not a single click. So you'll notice it tells you here, double tap to turn it on or off, once to prime, once more to confirm. And I don't know why it does that. I'm not sure what the status of prime is, unless it has to do with like if you're trying to skirt authorities, but you don't want them to exactly bust you. I don't know. There's got to be a reason for it. I haven't played a whole lot with it to figure that out. So we're going to finish and we're going to turn it on by 1. It's now on. And we're passing by that relay. There's the sun. If we had passed closer to it, we would have taken a path around it. Also, your supplies can start to get eaten up higher if you're too close to it. Presumably you're fighting radiation and things like that and having to repair things. That's my guess. Okay, we approach the orbital facility. Recruitment, hollows, greet incoming spacers. Join the Navy, see the sector. Yep, okay, your fleet transmits identification codes via the transponder and you are soon granted docking clearance. We're already docked. We were told to get here and contact the commander. So we're going to open a comm relay, or we're going to open the comm directory, sorry. And in this particular case, so we have this exclamation point. That means this is a story element or some sort of quest that is happening. This is that person. It is not uncommon to have several people listed here. In fact, I'm not sure the last time I saw just one, particularly on this opening station. So that's kind of curious to me. We're going to go ahead and say hello to Mia by clicking. And that starts a dialogue. And you'll notice that it was, so it would start here, open the comm directory. You connect to the local comm directory and browse the public and otherwise known listings. You transmit the comms ID and wait for the system to establish. Your connection request is accepted surprisingly quickly, given that a citizen has many responsibilities. Okay, I suppose a citizen is a rank. Okay, well, I guess it could be captain, or something like that. You've come. Excellent. As you're well aware recently, well, I suppose we can skip that part. You can ask for a refresher, and it basically tells you the same story each time. So after you've seen it once, you can skip the refresher. But basically, it's telling you the backstory of what's happening in the sector right now. We'll go ahead and do that. I could use a refresher. So a team from the Galatia Academy has been running experiments on the dormant gate in the system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experience, or so they thought, until an energy pulse we expected would get a response from the gate, destabilize the jump points leading into the system, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain. Writ small, the stars have a sense of irony, do they not? We continue, and the story will continue. The miners of Darren Station, which is also located in this system and was operating near a subsistence level were hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in out of desperation, no doubt, but there were deaths and they're putting themselves well outside the law. Their leaders know that if the jump points are stabilized and the system is once again part of the sector, they can look forward to a life sentence at a penal colony at absolute best. So it's in their best interest to keep the sector cut off. So where do I fit in? Well, we're going to go fix it. That's really what it's telling us. Pirates are too much for you to take on, but fortunately you don't have to. We've got an agent on Kuyu Station who was able to gain access to recent sensor readings from the ships guarding the jump points, but they have not been able to get to a long-range comm array to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to the station and retrieve the data from our agent, then return here. Why me? Or what's in it for me? And I think we get both answers. Why me? Why not? I'm not exactly spoiled for choice, and you've shown some ability to handle difficulties. Okay, that's fair. It's not going to be a milk run, that's for sure. So our relation with the hegemony increases by 1, and our relationship with the commander, station commander, has improved by 2. That's always good. It's great to get them out of neutral. You definitely don't want them in enemy. So what's the plan? First off, make sure you turn off your transponder once you undock. I've instructed the security detachment not to give you any trouble. All right, so this is kind of teaching us how you can go dark. Go dark is actually a command that we've been given as well, and we will use that as we get closer. You can also approach along the asteroid belt. That'll give you almost perfect cover as long as you're moving slowly. Yes, true. So we gained the ability go dark, and if they do notice me, I think the idea is run like hell. So we're also gaining emergency burn. So we had sustained burn. Emergency burn is similar, but it's a little different. Don't emergency burn unless you really need it, though. It's hard on the ships, and it will cost you more supplies to recover from. Okay. Eats up a good chunk of fuel, too. That's right. So fuel is also kind of a factor, and we don't want to just blow through that all willy-nilly and stuff. Very well. And then finally, excellent. Thank you for being willing to help. Come back when you've got the data. Good luck. Stabilize the jump points, sneak into the mining station, contact Hakafam, and retrieve data. So we cut the comm link. Now, we can go and do these other things as well right now, but honestly, we'll want to do that a little later. We'll come back. I think if we take the shuttle to a dockside bar, almost nothing happens until you finish the tutorial. So we'll come back around to that after we get through the whole of the tutorial, which is, it's going to be a few minutes yet, but long story short, we'll learn how all these other pieces work shortly. And we're going to leave. So there is our ships. And as we saw, we'll hit the map, which is tab. During Koyu Station is up here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to this debris field. Let's check that out. Untab, we're going to start moving that way. Once we get a little bit clear, we will turn off our transponder. That kind of helps us be a little stealthy. I am at the widest view right now. We can zoom way in, but I like to be able to see stuff coming. And then as we get closer up here, we will... Okay, so I'm going to pause real quick. We are on autopilot, and you can press A to engage the autopilot if you've disengaged it. We can also steer by clicking. So I just clicked over here. Now, because we're going as fast as we are, it's going to take a while to actually get to where we were. In fact, even clicking out here, there's a really good chance he will have to circle around for a while to get slow enough to actually hit that spot, because we have very little maneuverability when we're in sustained burn. The other thing we can do is just turn off sustained burn, which is another option. We're going to do that right now. And we slowed down. Now you can see I'm moving this way, which is where I clicked. We're going to hit A again to go back to the course we were on. And then once we get in this debris field, which is now, I'm going to just click to stop. There we are. We're holding station in the debris field, and we're going to scavenge. As far as they're concerned, we're just scavengers right now. Okay, there's significant risk involved. There's always significant risk when you're scavenging. But look at the effectiveness of this one. This is very good. Now we're we're putting at risk 130 crew members. We have to have at least that many to do this job. And we have to have at least 40 of the machines. And we're all good there. So we're going to begin the operation. Looks like it went pretty well, actually. Didn't give us any deaths or anything like that. That is a heck of a lot of supplies for us. It certainly isn't breaking the bank, but that's a healthy number. Good fuel, gaining a few more machines, and we will take the metal as long as we can. Eventually we'll sell it. That's really the goal here. But we're going to take everything. And we're done. We have now salvaged this area. Now here is the mining station, and here's the fleet that's guarding it. We kind of want to go dark. I'm going to click the go dark button. So we will travel much slower now. You'll notice our max speed is 4. And we're going to go here in. This is, by the way, where our course is currently plotted. That's why it's pointing there, this line. But it will move to where we click. And yeah, we're just going to travel along here until we see the fleet again. And my plan is to sneak up on it inside the asteroid belt. Maybe slow down. They're kind of crossing over. I was hoping they would get on the outside and then we would quick come in and get over there. For now, we're just going to hover. Let's see how we kill. So we still have... Okay, I'm not sure. I don't like the arrows pointing back here. If I can get rid of that, I can't quite remember how you do that. I'll see if I can find that. And they're just going to basically fly around randomly for a while. So we're going to have to wait a minute here. We can hold down shift and it'll speed up time. Here's some of that debris from the salvage yard, the debris field floating around. This can be the sign that a battle has occurred as well, and you sometimes will want to go after that. We're still in the go dark mode, so they probably won't see us. So we're going to come to this side of the asteroid belt, and we're going to try to time it to hit this when they're far away, and they're slowing down some. There we go. So we should be fine. We're now going to click on the station, and we will go straight to it. And even if they see us now, it's too late. They're not going to be able to catch us. So we're going to open the comm directory again. That's usually what you'll do when you get to a station. And we see Heka Pham. That's the person we're supposed to contact. They're an agent. You'll notice that we have our handy little, hey, notice me mark there. We're going to click on Heka. You connect to the local comm. You transmit. You contact the agent using a special comms ID and exchange passphrases to verify each other's identities. The agent then transmits the data file with recent raw sensor readings on the unstable jump points. That's it. We're done. We can get out of here, and we are going to do that. So we're going to cut the comm link. We could go and visit their dockside bar and all that, just like we're anywhere else, but we're going to pass on that today. And we're going to leave, and then we're going to click in the opposite direction and turn off Go Dark and get the heck out of Dodge, and they didn't even notice. Now, if we come back over here just to see if I was correct in what I thought. Yeah, we are not getting the ability to scavenge. Notice clicking it is doing nothing. So that is scavenged one time and in one and done kind of fashion. So let's go here. Let's click back on the station. Right click to set a course, and we're going to go and we will sustain burn. Notice we are not using any fuel. Fuel is used when you do inner system travel, mostly. I think it can use it if you do emergency burn, as it mentioned, but overall, you don't use a whole lot of fuel while you're in a single system. Oh, we need to turn our transponder back on. That would have been a mistake. It usually warns you once or twice before it gets really haughty with you about it. Okay, well, we are back. We're going to talk to the boss. Mia, we improved. Okay, well, you have the data. Well done. You got paid 5,000 credits. Now, when the system is running a preliminary, while the system is running a preliminary, easy for me to say, analysis of the data, I believe you are due a reward. We got our reward. We increased our reputation with them. There's a chime in the background, and she looks concerned. Is there a problem? Yes, the system estimates it'd take about a cycle to analyze the data and come up with a stabilization algorithm. Naturally, by then, the data will be out of date and any algorithm based on it meaningless. If we had an AI core, on the other hand, we could analyze the data more quickly. Fortunately, there's a survey probe somewhere in the system, one left over from the initial exploration of the sector. It should have at least one AI core serving as its brain. Well, that is just lovely, and it is the tutorial, so that's why it's there. Where is it, and why hasn't it been salvaged before? To answer your second question, domain artifacts are usually protected by automated defenses that still function to this day. True. And this probe is no exception. And the hegemony generally forbids civilian interference with domain artifacts for the sake of public safety, of course. Desperate times, however, yep, we get it. And as to where it is, it looks like it's beyond the orbit of Pontus. Get there and then head out beyond the asteroid belt and use the active sensor burst. So we now have the ability to detect stuff. It's a new ability that we are given. Click it and it basically is a ping that goes out in all directions. It does make you more likely to be detected, but it helps you detect things. You should at the very least get a sensor contact with the probe. And yes, okay, head towards it, perform salvage, and bring it back. Yep. Pontus is a gas giant in the outer system. To see its name on the map, you might have to turn off the inhabited option in the map filter. So I think the map filter doesn't start in a filtered mode. So generally you can kind of ignore that, but it is good. I can't get there right now. It is good to know that you can filter things on it, and that can become a factor. You decide to, we'll see what we can do. And we're back to this. Can I hit the map now? I can. Okay, so this is Pontus over here. This is the Academy, and this is not the probe. This is just an asteroid as a part of the asteroid belt. We would probably expect the probe to be in this area here. I don't think that's going to be it either. It should be in this area here. Actually, it's pretty tight too. It's not, you're not going to have to hunt for hours to find it. Just go past Pontus, through the asteroid belt, and ping, and you'll find it in this general area. Here's the filters it's talking about. And yes, actually it was filtered off. We can see it when we roll over it, but if we click that, it puts the names in there for us. So sorry about that. And yeah, there you have it. This names all the stuff. I'm going to turn that off. And I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and pause right here, and we will pick up with the tutorial in the next episode. This is Starsector. It is a fantastic game that is not available on Steam. It is a direct download from the developer. The game has been in use for a very long time. It's been in early access for a very long time, and it will remain so until he is perfectly done with it. And there's no sight to that being soon, but the game is very enjoyable in its current state, entirely playable. I hope you consider picking it up, taking a good look at it. And if you do that, you enjoy the heck out of it. It can be a lot of fun. I do want to thank you for your time and joining me. And until next time, fair travels.